Welcome, everybody, to the second ever episode of Absolute Pro Wrestling After the Bell, where we talk about all things APW, hashtag for the bird. I'm your host, Clint of Tag Team Photography, and joining me again today is the man behind the scenes, APW promoter Jason Prentice, and the one and the only Ricky Bronson. Happy New Year, gentlemen. How's everything going?
Happy New Year, baby. Go Vikings, baby. Let's go. Yeah.
Got a skull already. I love it. Ricky and I are two happy boys because the Vikings are one game away as of this recording from a first-round bye and home field advantage through the playoffs. So when this releases, it'll be after that game is done. So we're either going to be really happy. We should we should film fake reactions now, Ricky, so we can insert it into the video because we have the power of technology behind us. So, Ricky, this is Clint, after the Vikings. This is after the Vikings lose, okay? So we're welcoming everybody to the podcast. Ready? All right, the Vikings lost. Ricky, how are you feeling after that Vikings loss last night?
Oh, baby, I'm about to drink this whole bottle of JD, baby, until I pass out and I forget about what happened, man. You know what I'm talking about? Miserable, baby.
I'm playing sad music the whole time on this edit, by the way. Now, Ricky, we're going to the postseason, number one seed. The Vikings just won against the Lions. How are we feeling?
Oh, baby, I'm about to drink this JD, man, all the way until I pass out, baby. You know what I'm saying? Man, my girlfriend's probably going to find me naked in the snow, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's a regular Tuesday.
How about you?
Mm-hmm.
That's a regular Tuesday after some fine dining at Burger King.
So we got that out of the way, Clint. I know, obviously, Clint is more of a he wants everyone to bear down. We know he wants everyone to bear down. It's been a rough season for you, but I know we got business to talk about. So I don't want to humble brag about how great the Vikings are over the Bears. I know you got a lot of wrestling to talk with us about today.
Yes, we do. It's a brand new year. Obviously, big things coming along the line for APW. Jason, with that in mind, what can fans expect this year in 2025 for Absolute Pro Wrestling? What do you got coming down the pipeline for them this year?
Well, obviously, as you see on the bottom of the screen, we got the Winter Brawl Classic coming up on January the 25th. This is a very monumental show. Everybody saw it last year, how important it was. We talked about Pat McAfee, hyping us up. He was in Iowa last year to hype up Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes and the women's basketball team, and he did a phenomenal job bringing his show to the great Hawkeye State. And it was really cool. Joey Jojo got to talk with him for a little bit, and he plugged our show, and a lot of people were excited about that.
Absolute Wrestling tomorrow night might have a cowboy, might have a masshole, might have some superstars, but there's one thing that is absolutely certain, and that's referee Joey Jojo.
Damn right. Let's go, Pat. Let's go. Damn right. Damn right.
Counting to 3 if need be.
No indie spots, none of that crap. No one's going to bury me.
No, we're selling.
Damn right.
Yeah,
we're selling
we're
everything.
Actually selling.
Sell everything.
But also, indie wrestling. Listen, I've been to indie wrestling shows since I'm like 16 years old. I saw Madman Pondo put a stop sign through somebody's head that ended up in a hospital in Morgantown, West Virginia when I was in college. I'm an indie wrestling fan. You do what you got to do tonight. To hell with referee Joey Jojo. Whatever this guy says, don't listen. We don't need it. Not at Absolute Wrestling in Waterloo, Iowa.
I invite Pat and the whole team, by the way, to come to Waterloo this year and show up. That'd be cool. We invited them last year. They didn't show up. Hopefully, Ty and company. Ty's a hometown guy. He's a Waterloo guy. So hopefully they can show up and have a little fun in the Lou. But even if they're not there, we know that we have great fan support for this event. We had close to 400 people inside the Sportsplex. That's huge. When you talk about wrestling in Waterloo, you don't see that kind of a crowd unless you're saying, hey, we also have this WWE Hall of Famer legend guy in the building. The fact that we drew that many people inside the Sportsplex for a show like this, it speaks volumes to the talent that we have, to the people that are plugging the show, and to just everybody that's behind the scenes making this thing become what it's become. And I think it's just, again, a huge testament to what we're doing with Absolute Pro Wrestling in the city of Waterloo. Now, with that, that's the first show of 2025. Hard to believe we're in a new year, but we're going back to some spots that we've been in before, including Algona, March 1st. That's the second show of the new year, which some folks are saying, wait a second, Mike, I thought you said that, in February there was going to be a show. We had change of plans and change of venue. We'll talk about that in a minute. But March the 1st, we will have Absolute Pro Wrestling at the Algona VFW. That's our last show at the VFW until later in the year, because we'll be back at Floral Hall. Very happy to announce that. Great venue, great folks with Floral Hall on the grounds of the Cassuth County Fair. And we can't wait to be back there in May. We'll talk about that in a minute. Otherwise, March 8th, 1 week after Algona, third show of the year, we're going to the Hall in West Des Moines. Why is this a note for us? Well, because it was going to be in February. We were going to have a return to West Des Moines, but things just kind of didn't go where we wanted them to go as far as date, time, and every other little nuance that you don't have to worry about, that we have to worry about. So we came to an agreement with the Hall. They are awesome folks, Nick and Lynn. They are the owners and front runners of that. And we can't wait for March 8th, which somebody, I'm not going to point fingers and put them on the screen, but somebody, I didn't put his name on the screen, and I'm not going to point any fingers, but somebody is a regular Dave Meltzer and has to report about the fact that he's got a heavyweight championship opportunity in his hometown. Mind you, I send him this graphic. I said, Ricky, it's going to be awesome. You and the champ. I don't even know if it's for the title. I'm like, we'll talk about that when it comes to, time to talk about that. And Ricky's like, hey, man, appreciate it. Can't wait. Okay, that's the end of that. But then this guy right here, Richard Bronson III, goes on social media and he's like, taking on the champ, going to be the next champ. I can't wait. This is awesome. Got the whole trailer park talking about this around the outside. And now he's worked himself into a heavyweight championship opportunity, which, goddamn it, Ricky, I love you, man. But that's a big match. Also on that same card, graphics posted right now. You can see it, not in our live feed because I don't have that on our live feed, but on this now edited version of the show, you can see that, yes, Matty Starr will be in action against former Free World member Jackson King. First time encounter for these two in Absolute Pro Wrestling. Matty Starr, though, I don't know if you guys have heard about this through the grapevine. He's telling everybody else that it's not happening. It's not happening. That it's fake news, that it's just a lie, that for whatever reason there's miscommunication, and that he is not wrestling Jackson King. I haven't heard nothing from King except the text message that said me versus Starr, please. That's all I've gotten from King. Other than that, I haven't heard a peep from the guy. But Matty Starr, he says, nope, no way, no how, ain't happening. After that, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can't wait. And I'm sure things are going to pick up over the next few weeks here as far as that match is concerned. I can tell you, I'm not going to go through the whole calendar, but I can tell you the first show at Floral Hall in Algona will be May 17th. Mark your calendars. It's Ruthless Aggression 2. Can't wait for it. I don't know what the headline is going to be. Last year we did TLC, which is a huge, huge event. And I'm sure whatever it is, that's the main event for that show, is going to be just as chaotic and wild. And we can't wait back. We can't wait to be back at Floral Hall in Algona. So those are the first 4 shows of the year coming up in 2025. I think, Clint, if you can expect anything from Absolute Pro Wrestling, it's the very best in the Midwest come together for one epic night.
It definitely sounds like a great start to the year with all the events that you got going, and then I'm sure it'll just continue to pick up momentum as the year goes on. Being that it is 2025, and you mentioned Ricky Bronson's in that big opportunity, I'm going to point this question to you, Ricky. What are your kind of 3 predictions or hopes that you want to achieve or see in APW this year? Not necessarily just for you, but what do you see from the company as a whole, and then what do you want to expect for yourself going into APW in 2025?
All right, I got several predictions here, baby. Now roll with me, baby. This might be a little bit of a jealous little personal prediction, but prediction number 1, Thrill Cat's going to be in the Winter Brawl Classic as a surprise entrant. Thrill Cat, baby. Prediction number 2. Maddie Starr is going to leave the free world. I think eventually, like you were just saying, Jackson King, Maddie Starr. Maddie Starr don't want to wrestle Jackson King. I think Maddie Starr is eventually going to leave the free world and team up sometime with Jackson King and take on the free world eventually. Maybe, not in the near future, but somewhere along the line, baby. I think that's what's going to happen. Prediction number 3. I'm going to win that open weight title, baby. Now, here's the thing. First of all, Mr. Prentice, if you want to check my post, I never said it was for a title. I just said I was thankful for an opportunity, and I just said it was for an opportunity that's all I said. I was thankful for an opportunity. I have gone through a lot the last several years to get where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. And I have been looking for that open weight title. Now, if you want to put me in that match with AVB and tell me that it's for the championship, baby, I'm going to put on one hell of a show for my hometown, baby, because that's what I do. The whole trailer park's coming out. There's going to be all sorts of muscle cars, dirt bikes in the parking lot, coolers, probably kegs. You never know what's going to show up when Ricky Bronson's wrestling in his hometown, baby. So, AVB, you are one hell of a competitor. I've been watching you for years, baby. So I'm not going to take this lightly. But prediction number 3, like I said, probably the open weight title, because I've been chasing that for a long, long time. But if you make that a championship match, I'm going to do everything possible that Ricky can do that is possible to get that strap around my waist, baby. I guarantee it. But I will have a title at some point this year. Prediction number 3.
Okay. Big words, big predictions. I like it. Mr. Prentice, what are your kind of predictions? Maybe not have to predict anything, but what are your hopes for APW this year? Like, what are you wanting to see the company accomplish?
I want to see us deepen our relationship with the city of Waterloo. I think we're doing a great job of that already to kick off. We've talked with Tavis from Waterloo about how we can promote our show with them further. We've got a really great relationship with the mayor, Quentin Hart, who he loves what we're doing. He's made it clear, as has Tara with the city, that they have a focus in Waterloo on sports of all aspects. And what we're doing to bring professional wrestling to the Cedar Valley is important in their vision for what's happening in Waterloo. So having that support is huge. It's just developing more relationships, working with more sponsors, working with more individuals to showcase what we're capable of doing. We're trying to get within the school district now as well to talk to young kids about the importance of going to school, getting an education, and staying away from bad vices. And we can't wait to officially, put out our program on that here in 2025. We're just kind of finalizing little details as far as that's concerned. Obviously, we want to have profitable shows, but that's not why we do what we do. I think anybody would tell you that they're in the wrestling business to make a dollar or two is just full of crap. I think anybody who knows the business knows you don't get into this side of it thinking you're going to make $1 million. The biggest thing we want to do is entertain folks, and I hope that this year we can entertain everybody that's buying a ticket to Absolute Pro Wrestling, whether it be in Des Moines, in Waterloo, in Algona, or any other market that we may touch. We may go out of state a little bit and work with some new entities. But right now our goal is in 2025 to produce the best shows that we can. Mm-hmm. We've kind of changed our strategy on how we promote some things. Yeah. I think first, examples would be the Winter Brawl Classic. Okay. And the way we put together some of the packaging on what you're gonna get from that show. I think a lot of people received that well, and I think the response that we've got for that is an indicator. Okay, we need to do that for every show. So I think that's part of what's going to happen in 2025. And like I said, my biggest hope is we can deliver the best show possible. And I think with the people that we have coming, because I love bringing in new talents. You talk to anybody, I think that we're a good melting pot for guys around the Midwest to come together and fight it out. And I think one of the best examples of that is Alvin Falcone, and Alvin, who I believe is from Iowa, lives in Iowa now. It was funny because I thought he was a Nebraska guy, and he had to give me some grief, and Shank gave me some grief afterwards. Yeah, he's an Iowa guy. But I said, he's a Nebraska Carlo. No, he's from Iowa. So that was great. But he came from outside of Absolute Pro Wrestling, and him and guys like Trent Hammer and other folks have come from other territories outside of APW and Madhouse and IPW, and they've shown what they're capable of doing, and now they've become immersed as part of the Absolute brand. So I hope that we can continue to do that. I can tell you that we already have a few debuts set for the Winter Brawl and set for Super Slam 3. So really excited about what's coming down the road.
Nice. And like you mentioned, when we first talked about this, you and I, before everything got started, you really wanted to get a foothold in Waterloo, and you've done a fantastic job doing that. And you just keep expanding on that relationship, getting into the bigger venue and moving on to the bigger boat, as you once called it. That's been really cool to see how that has progressed over the past couple of years and continues to get deeper and deeper.
We got showers at this venue now. Like, this boat has showers, okay? That was a very big part of the boat, all right?
Yep.
Being able to play loud music and have showers on that boat, crucial to the whole shebang. So, yes, that boat is quite nice.
Okay. For my 3 predictions for the year, I'd have to say, number one, I think I'm glad you mentioned him already. Alvin Falcone, I think, doesn't go all of 2025 without holding some kind of gold around his waist in APW. He's just on that rocket ship of momentum going. So I can see gold in his future. My second prediction is Victor Payne has a Kane-like performance in the Winter Brawl Classic with a lot of eliminations, maybe even setting a record for being the second event. And my third one is kind of a double one. I think the 319 continue a dominant reign as tag team champions, but at some point in time, Bryce Jordan and Jay Wesley, they're going to come to blows. They got along just fine in the Big 10-man street fight, but you can tell there's tension there.
They hug, Clint. Brothers don't shake hands.
Yeah.
They hug.
They hug in the moment.
Why are you stirring the pot so the sauce don't burn? You son of a bitch.
You can see the tension there. It's going to boil up at some point in time. I just have a feeling. Yeah, they hugged, but they accomplished what they wanted to that night. But there's still something there.
Professional photo taker / professional pot stirrer. That's what it needs to say on your damn name right there. Well, let me tell you that much.
Just calling it like I see it, man. Calling it like I see it. So we mentioned it a couple times already. We're a week or two out from the Winter Brawl Classic. Big event last year. You said you had over 400 people there seeing it. Jason, when it comes to the Winter Brawl Classic, what was kind of your inspiration to creating this event and putting it on and bringing in so much talent to have such a huge event for APW?
Well, obviously the match itself, it's our version of the Rumble. I say we, Shank, myself, and other people involved with the company, we said, okay, we need something that's going to kick off the year on a high note. And we're like, all right, well, we could do something Rumble-like. And we're like, well, yeah, but let's not call it a Rumble because everybody, and it's no offense to anybody, but a lot of people have their version of a Rumble. They're like, it's the Winter Rumble, it's the Blizzard Rumble, it's this and it's that. And we're like, okay. And we actually talked for a little bit about maybe doing a tournament instead of a Rumble. And Shane's like, oh, well, we'll call it the Winter Brawl Classic. I said, oh, I like that name. Or Winter Brawl. And I think we both kind of added classic in there. Yeah. I got to have some credit in this shit, okay? I'm sorry. But,
WBC, baby.
But we said, okay, like, what is the Winter Brawl Classic? And we said, well, we'll just make it the Rumble. And it's unique enough for us where on our level, what we do at the independent level, some people are trying it. Some people are trying to do it. How can we do it better than them? Yeah. It's kind of how we approached it. Well, they're going to fight for a trophy. How many people have that up for grabs? Are they going to fight just like they would in the big show where they're going to get the heavyweight champion in a couple of months? Okay, that's great. So all these things kind of make it unique to what we're doing, different from what other people are doing. And it's not, a show called the Rumble of some sorts. The logo this year, my God, what a huge, crazy job that they did. Bitter Chain, Max Perkai, I think is how you say his name. He did Jimmy Wild's shirt. He did a Stud Club shirt for us. He did a Shank design, which Shank never released. Upset me because it's so good. It's very cool. Not as cool as the 4 square Shanks that I did, but it's still really cool. Still really cool. Bitter Chain. You can check him out on Instagram. UK guy. Super awesome. Does a bunch of gear design and other work. And I went to him like, hey, here's what I want you to copy. Can you do it in your own style? That's kind of like this, but it's still this. Yep, cool. It's obviously based off the old Rumble logo, which makes me sound like a hypocrite when I say it's not a Rumble, but it's based off. Who cares? Okay, at the end of the day, it's an awesome fucking logo, and I love it.
It is.
Awesome.
It is an awesome logo.
My favorite posters. Like Clint hit me up in meetings like, this is a bomb ass fucking poster. I'm like, I know. I love it. It's one of my favorite. I have the old, like the poster from last year. I have it framed. It's over on my collection over here, but I love it this year, and I think it's just going to stick forever until I get bored and say, hey, I want the logo from the early 2000s for some reason because I'm a nerd like that. But yeah, the other side of it too with the trophy, it's named the Diana after my grandmother. For those that were at the show, that's how Cole Cannon and I got into this whole feud in the first place, was because he took shots at my grandmother with it being named after her. But that whole aspect of the whole event too is really special. Aaron Von Baron, who won it last year, he's going to present the winner of the brawl this year with that trophy. He's going to, kind of the tradition we're going to do is whoever won it before is going to hand it to the next person.
Gotcha.
Because that's what you do. That's what you do in this business. When it's the next guy up, you hand it over and you just accept that. Ricky. But like he's still, I got some grief. I got this, look at that grin from ear to ear.
I'm never gonna live down this post, am I, baby?
Never happen. Clint, again, he might be a pot stirrer, but I can equally stir the pot because we can't let it burn. But yeah, that's the inspiration for the whole event, and God, what an event it is. Okay.
Ricky, we'll get your thoughts on being in it for the first time here in a little bit. But before that, there are other matches on the card. Obviously, the tag team titles are on the line. The 319, Ethan Everhart and Jay Wesley are putting the titles on the line against the rivalry that, seemingly won't end in APW with the Free World, and Matty Starr and Leo Santel. And Ricky, I'm going to point this question to you. Seeing what happened at the 10-man tag and the way they kind of left Jackson King in the dust for losing, is this a must-win situation for Matty and Leo Santel?
I don't know if it's a must-win, but I feel like they need something to get the cohesion and the team, on a same page. A team and a faction doesn't really run unless they're all on the same page with the same, kind of energy going. I think that's what's more important, that they just kind of work together and just, they just kind of got to forget about the stuff with Jackson King, put that in the past and move forward, man. They gotta start getting them wheels greased up and going again, baby.
That's a great point because, we've seen the footage of their little, I don't know if you'd say an argument or team meeting after the last show in Waterloo, and didn't seem like they were the most cohesive unit. So starting the year off with a big win would be huge for them.
Definitely.
Mason, go ahead.
Oh, and by the way, that footage, the little runt, the little potster junior over here, Emmett, was the guy who found all this happening. So I don't know if the potster is just in the family gene, but what I do know is that kid I'm surprised Picture didn't try and just squish him like a bug. I'm surprised, but he did kind of juke fake them out a little bit there, Clint.
he was just doing his job and capturing what he can, and just came across it. Jason, on the flip side of this, what are your thoughts on the 319 as the tag champs heading into the new year?
They've been impressive, not just in tag action, but in singles as of late. Not just in Absolute Pro Wrestling either, and they're getting opportunities, social experiment wrestling, giving a championship opportunity to Jay Wesley. Ethan Everhart is going to wrestle over there as well. And this year, they got a lot of things on tap that they're really looking forward to. And with Absolute Pro Wrestling, they've worked well as a team. Algona was a great example of that when they came together to take on Damon Dillinger and Trent Hammer. And, the story on that one, we talked about a little bit. Ethan Everhart, he's got a few more years behind him. Not that he's got 20 years of experience, but he's got enough years, behind him where he's been able to kind of ground Jay Wesley a little better, trying to be like, hey, man, I know you want to go. And if anyone can go, it's Ethan Everhart. Let me tell you that much. George of the Jungle, he wants to not watch out for the tree. He wants to plow through that thing. But Jay Wesley, he's a guy who he's still learning. He's still very young in this business. They're both very young in this business. But I think just the tenure that Ethan has, he's already a former heavyweight champion. He knows what it takes to do that. I think that experience and having to go against a guy like Matty Starr for as long as he did, having to work with Justin Decent as a tag champion for Impact Pro Wrestling a few years ago, I think that guy, they gave him a little bit of temperament. They gave him a stability to understand what it's going to take for him and Jay Wesley, for Ethan and Jay Wesley to, forge ahead with this championship run. And again, Matty Starr and Leo Santel, it is, I have to disagree with Ricky. I think it's do or die. I think it's do or die for those guys only because they've had all these opportunities to do something against the 319,
right,
including Bryce and Shank. And they've had highs and lows, but the one thing they haven't had is a solid victory over the whole entire entity.
Yeah.
And whether that was the 10-man tag, whether that was the three-way dance where they, with the boys lost their titles, or even in singles competition here and there, nitpicking a little bit, but they haven't had that solid win where it's like, we are above these guys. We're better than these. This is a must-win situation, especially after that encounter that we mentioned.
Well, just like you said, it is a must-win for them, and their partner in the free world, the Big Picture, he has himself a title match as well, putting the title on the line against Alvin Falcone, and we saw that in Algona. We saw how that kind of played out, and I know, Ricky, you're going to have your eyes on that one for sure as the Openweight Championship is on the line. Definitely. What are your kind of thoughts on that rematch heading into Waterloo?
First of all, I just can't wait to see that match. I didn't get to see the first meeting that they had. So I'm just pumped to, just to watch them two talents go head to head. Alvin Falcone, he's like we were talking about the last podcast. He's just been on a rise, man. The fans in APW have been getting behind him, and it's a train that just ain't stopping, baby. And then you got Big Picture. Big Picture's been around the Midwest and the Iowa wrestling, the independent scene, just for years. The dude's a legend. The dude is more than a legend. He's a monster. I've been in the ring with Big Picture, and it's intimidating. It's scary. He tries to overpower you, but he's also smart. He's also fast, very faster than you would actually think. So, I'm very pumped to watch this match. Like you were saying, I got a lot of interest and a lot of vested interest, personally, just because I've been watching that open weight title. I watched it go to Cole Cannon and Victor Payne, and now we got Big Picture with this. Victor Payne's still hanging around in the title picture all the time. So it's a very interesting time around that open weight title. But this match in particular, I'm very pumped to watch it, baby.
Yep. And what about you? What do you think about that matchup, Mr. Prentice?
Well, for Alvin Falcone, he learned that the Big Picture is gonna do whatever he can to retain that championship. And obviously on this last episode, the first episode we did, I said that disqualification or count out just ain't going to cut it for the Big Picture. He's going to match as a fighting champion. So I think that helps even out the playing field a little bit. But still, it's the big picture. He's a veteran, and he is a guy who knows what it takes to hold a championship for a very long time. He was the heavyweight champion for a very long time. He carried it through the pandemic, was able to go up against every challenger and win. He knows what it's going to take to keep that championship. By hook or crook, he's a guy who knows how to find a way. But Alan Falcone, very innovative, very fresh in the mind, and I have a lot of confidence in him in this matchup. I hope it's a damn good match. I hope people get their money's worth out of it, and big picture can't cheat anybody out of a ticket. But at the end of it, I just know we're in for a barn burner.
Definitely has that elusive. It'll have that big fight feel that everyone wants to experience in their lives with them two colliding like they are. So it could be a precursor of whether the free world has a good night or a bad night, because it could be a very bad night for the free world if they don't come out with victories in their big matches. One of the more intriguing ones that we announced on the first episode is the Cowboys from Hell, Justin Decent taking on APW heavyweight champion Aaron Von Baron in a matchup of former partners. Going to, that this is going to turn into a fight, no matter how much respect they might have between each other. This one's going to end up in a fight, and it's gonna be interesting to see. Jason, what was kind of your mindset on making this match the one that you wanted to start the year off?
Well, I think that people have asked for it, and we try to give people what they want. I think that there's been enough intrigue into this, interest into this. What would happen if this cowboy took on this cowboy? What would happen if these two very close personal friends wanted to beat the ever-loving hell out of each other? There's always interest in those types of matchups, and I think when Aaron Von Baron came back last year without Justin Decent, people were saying, well, what about Justin? What's going on with Justin? He had suffered an injury, kind of plagued them a little bit towards the end of 2023. And then he kind of suffered that again, re-injured himself in the middle of 2024. We got him back late 2024 against Damon Dillinger. But, people were starting to say, well, he's back. AVB's top guy right now. Are these two ever going to cross paths, or are we just going to dance around it? Right. There's an issue there, and there is an issue there. You'll see in the coming weeks what these two men have to say about each other. And I actually think we do have some video of Aaron Von Baron that will air here on the program.
I want competition. The champion deserves competition. Bring it to me. Bring anything you got, because I will take it down into the darkness with me, and there will be nothing left of APW.
Justin Decent, Aaron Von Baron. It's going to be a brawl like we've never seen before, I feel. I think there's been personal vendettas in Absolute Pro Wrestling. Right. We've seen personal vendettas. Matty Starr, Ethan Everhart. Matty Starr, Shank. The free world against everybody in Waterloo. Like, we've seen these personal vendettas. Myself, Cole Cannon. This is on the level of that and then some, I think. Just because AVB feels like he got abandoned, and Justin Decent knows he's been abandoned, and they just want to beat the ever-loving hell out of each other.
And Ricky, having seen both these guys and been in the ring, both of them, knowing how much they love to fight, what do you kind of expect when these two, take no prisoners, badasses step inside the ring together on the 20th?
First of all, when you even mentioned that match, I just got all tingly, baby. Every hair on my arm started to stand up, man. I mean, that is going to be, like you said, a barn burner, baby. A banger, certified banger. You ever watch them old Westerns, and there's like the guy sitting at the bar who's like, he and then there's usually the good guy. And then the guy hits open the swinging doors to the bar, and he's like just kind of standing there, walks up there slowly, orders a drink, takes a shot right next to the guy, and you know that they got problems, you know? And then they decide to go out and settle it, baby. That's what I get the feeling, the vibes from this whole thing, man. Mm-hmm. I love both of these guys. Justin Decent, you know, he is my trainer. And there's the utmost respect for Justin Decent in pro wrestling. The guy is also a legend, and you know, I can't say enough about him. I've been in the ring many a times. The guy throws some hands too. Let me tell you what, you do not want to get behind one of his fists, one of his chops, one of his kicks. Everything hurts with Justin Decent. ABB and Justin Decent, like I said, it's going to be a certified banger. I cannot wait. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very personal. And those are also the type of matches that you just really want to see. Them personal matches that got some grit behind it, that got some, you know, history behind it. It's what makes, you know, everything about pro wrestling great, baby. And I can't wait.
Well, it really adds another element to this whole card. You know, when you look back at great Royal Rumbles in the past, the best show events have a great Rumble match, which we'll get to in just a minute when it comes to the Winter Brawl Classic, but they have title matches that are usually memorable. A lot of times they have grudge matches. This card, we got 2 title matches that are going to be great. We got a grudge match between former partners with a lot of history. That's going to add so much more. So it is really shaping up to be a great card to start the year and really kind of put the rocket ship on APW for the rest of 2025. And then the other match that we also have is the Risk or Reward Fatal 4-Way. That we got Bryce Jordan, AJ Smooth, James Jeffries, and Colin Anthony fighting for the chance to earn the final spot or the final entrant into the Winter Brawl Classic. But then there's that risk of, if you are the guy who takes the pinfall, you're entering number 1. Jason, when it came to putting this together, how did you come to decide who was going to be in this match? Because you got 3 guys that are well known around APW, and Colin Anthony, who made his debut last year, looking to make a name for himself. How did you go about determining who was going to be in this match?
Well, we looked at this and we said, okay, you have a guy like Colin who is trying to make a name for himself in Iowa pro wrestling, whether it's through Eminent Wrestling Alliance, through Rugged Pro, through us, through anybody here in the state, or River City Championship Wrestling, anybody up above the state. You know, he's trying to make his name. He's really trying to develop himself. And we said, okay, he's looking for opportunity. Well, let's give him an opportunity. He was in the first Winter Brawl Classic last year. All right, makes sense why he'd be in there. Then you go, okay, well, who else is looking for an opportunity right now? And AJ Smooth is another guy who's looking for opportunity. Whether people want to admit that or not, 0 wins.
Right.
He has 0 wins in Absolute Pro Wrestling. He's been in now 3 matches. 1 in Algona, 1 in Waterloo, 1 in Des Moines, and he's got 0 wins in 3 different cities.
Right.
So, hey, AJ, welcome back to Waterloo. Here's a chance for you to get an opportunity in another match where the biggest opportunity is on the line. So this could be a huge night for AJ Smooth to get to where he wants to be. He was one of the guys initially fighting for a chance at the APW Championship. You want to go further back into APW lore here real quick. It was him against Ethan Everhart, and he lost that qualifier against Everhart. So I thought he was another perfect candidate for that reason as well. And then you got Bryce Jordan. This is the guy who a lot of people are saying, hey, he's a heavyweight champion in the state of Iowa. He's been a heavyweight champion in the state of Iowa. He's really good in the singles run. When's it going to be his time to maybe become APW champion? And while we talk about Shank in that same light, you got to talk about Bryce as well. And now we're at a point where Bryce is in this matchup, and he's fighting for the opportunity against 3 other people, and the final guy is James Jeffries. I think James is Mr. Opportunity. I think that's another reason why we put him in this matchup. Several reasons why you can put all of these guys in there, but for James, Mr. Opportunity. Yeah. He's a guy who has his whole career heard, you're the smallest, you're not the biggest, you're not the strongest, you got no shot. He's one of the biggest underdogs in the history of wrestling. I said it. People can hate that comment, but fight me. I don't care. At me.
I agree without a doubt.
Hit me up on X, Ricky.
I agree totally, man.
He is one of the biggest underdogs in the history of Iowa pro wrestling, at least. This guy, whether he was loved or hated, because he's been both. He's been, if you can believe it, he's been hated before in professional wrestling. But whether you love or hate the guy, he's one of the biggest and best underdog stories that this business has to offer. And to this day, no matter how experienced he is, you see this Fatal 4-Way and you go, well, AJ's bigger than him. Colin's a little more hungrier than he is because he's young and he's gritty and he's okay, cool, great. And Bryce Jordan is Bryce freaking Jordan.
Right.
So people are saying, he's the underdog. Sorry. Even when you have a guy with the inexperience compared to the other guys, Colin Anthony, they're still looking at James as the underdog.
Yep.
So I think this is another match where he gets to prove why he's Mr. Opportunity, win, lose, or draw. And it is risk or reward. I love it. It was something we talked about creatively. We said, okay, we have all these matches lined up. What's a match that's going to create some intrigue? Mm-hmm. Okay, how about a match where somebody enters first, someone enters last? Okay, well, let's have 4 guys instead of just 2. Why pick 2 guys when you can have 4 guys? Why not? Why not? Cause a little more chaos. And I think that's exactly what we've created. For all these guys, it's an opportunity to have another opportunity to become contender to the heavyweight championship. For one unfortunate soul, it's just going to make their night a lot longer.
Mm-hmm. And then, Ricky, what do you think about these 4 guys getting that opportunity and you yourself getting passed over? Stirring again.
Stir the pot. Stir the damn pot.
Hey, I don't feel like I'm getting passed over. First of all, with these guys here, this is going to be another hell of a match. This card is stacked top to bottom. I believe all these guys really deserve this opportunity that they're getting. And you're totally right. James Jeffries as Mr. Opportunity. That dude, like you were saying, has been told that he was, too small to even be a professional wrestler. Probably never going to win a title. And he's the most, like you say, the most beloved wrestler in probably the Midwest, all over. You can Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, all over, baby. AJ Smooth, another veteran, man. Another guy that could easily have honestly, I'm just going to say it. I don't know how AJ Smooth is not in one of the big leagues, baby, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That dude's got it. That dude's always had it. He's always been in shape. He's always been a professional. He's always treated me with respect, and I've seen him treat others, with the utmost respect in the locker room. He's just a professional, baby. I don't know a lot about Colin Anthony. I've met him a couple of times, on a couple of shows. But, yeah, he is an up-and-comer, baby, and he's got a lot to prove. He's got a mountain to climb with these other 3 guys. And Bryce Jordan, that is, like I said, I believe in the last podcast I called Bryce Jordan a blue chip prospect, and I stand behind it. That dude is got the most potential out of the sky isn't, like I said, isn't the limit for Bryce Jordan. Mm-hmm. So this match is definitely going to be another barn burner. Right. And I'm sorry here, but how does this actually how does the winner gets the spot in the Winter Brawl, right? Is that what you're saying?
All these guys are in the Winter Brawl.
Okay, that's what I thought with the lineup. Because I was planning on kicking all their asses anyway.
Whoever gets the pin will be the last man in. Whoever gets
pinned gotcha, baby.
is number 1. Hey, you're already in the match. And while some people are going to say, well, this is kind of a disadvantage anyways. You got 4 guys who got to go through 2 matches in one night to get a championship opportunity. That's why it's risk reward, because you're fighting for the opportunity to enter this long match last.
Yeah.
While you got 2 matches. One might not be as long because you're the last guy in. So
right.
Now here's another thing. Now that I know that here, I want to see Bryce Jordan really lose now because I know that I kind of want to see him go number one, baby, into the Winter Brawl. I want to see him try to Shawn Michaels that.
Iron Man role.
I think that'd be interesting to see him try to do that and really prove that he is that prospect. He is the man, and he can take on the entire roster, anyone.
On the flip side of that, though, then you could also see James Jeffries going in at number one and kind of being like Edge when he came back and won from number one.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting aspects to this match that's going to make this, one to watch for sure. AJ Smooth, man, he's another guy that if he came in last, you might want to just give him the win, baby, because it's gonna be it might be over. Well, it might be just me and him standing across each other at the last 1-2. But hey, I've been in a ladder match with AJ Smooth too, man. We went to and James Jeffries in the same match, had a triple threat with those guys. So hey, I know what they can both bring. So there is some interesting aspects to this risk or reward. I'm really liking this concept, man. I really like that. That's interesting, baby. That's creative.
Adds a lot of intrigue to the show, even more so than what already is, which leads us to the main event, obviously, the Winter Brawl Classic. And you said AVB won it last year, and he took that opportunity, ended up winning the championship, and has had a hell of a reign as champion. Mr. Bronson, you are in the match. What's your mindset going into this type of match, and what are your thoughts on some of the people that have already been mentioned that are at the bottom of the screen scrolling across, about some of the people that are in it, and what's kind of your approach to this?
First of all, I'm seeing Saint here. Is that who I'm thinking?
That's the rumor. That's the rumor.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to say it right now. Your ass better show up, baby, because I'm going to kick your ass. All right? Yeah. So, now we got that out of the way. Now, like I've been saying, I got that Mortal Kombat ladder to climb. I may as well just knock it all out here in this one match, baby, and throw everybody's ass out, baby, and just call me the champ already, man. Hey, so this is what's going to happen, baby. First of all, I hope everyone showers. A lot of humanity in that ring, baby. I'm predicting somebody might fart. It's going to stink up that ring a little bit. Might be me. Probably going to be me. I'll say it, But, yeah, it's going to be a hell of a match, baby. I can't wait. I'm pumped. I'm ready to just throw down with everyone, man. I'm planning on throwing some people over that top rope, into the front row, probably into the third row. So you better have some good insurance here, baby.
Okay. Jason Prentice.
Yeah.
Flipping it to you. What are your thoughts on some of the people that have been announced already or have made their intentions known?
Yeah, it's been fun to talk with all these individuals and be like, hey, we got this match. Would you like to be a part of it? Because we think you'd add something to the matchup. And there are a lot of guys last year, Clint and I talked about this off air. We had 17, maybe even more, but I calculated for sure 17 names who they weren't regular mainstays with Absolute Pro Wrestling. They said, hey, we just want an opportunity. A lot of them were coming from the Black and Brave Academy, which we were happy to have them involved with us last year in the Winter Brawl Classic. And we saw Cash Kennedy, who was in that match. He's now a part of Algona shows, and he's going to be a huge part of what we're doing in Algona in 2025. We already have him confirmed for several dates. We had Lonzo Romero. He impressed a lot of folks in the back. He was in there for a while, got a few eliminations, and we were happy to have him a part of it. He was in that tag match against Ricky Bronson and Shank. Dominic Zagreus was his partner. He also got an opportunity in Des Moines as well. And, there's a long list of guys that we were happy to work with. Trent Hammer was another one. He really got his start last year because of that match that he had. He had a 6-man tag early in the night against the Free World when they were 3 men going against the world. And then he went to the Winter Brawl Classic and, had a good showing there. Uriah Upton was another name as well that got his start all at this event last year. So 17 names who were not really featured at all with APW, they got opportunities after that. And that's one of the biggest things we talk to these younger guys about is, hey, we can promise you this because it's been done in this business many times. Hey, come to the Battle Royal. We'll see what you got in that match. It's a lot of bullshit. Come show us what you got. We're going to use you in the future. You're developing an opportunity with this matchup. And you may get the biggest opportunity of them all, by the way, if you win the damn thing, because then you get the heavyweight champion, and no one's going to see that coming if you do that. So opportunity on top of opportunity on top of opportunity, that's what we're providing with this Winter Brawl Classic. So I'm really happy that we have produced that with this matchup and with this concept. And I think what you can expect from this matchup, expect the unexpected. Mm-hmm. That's what these matches are all for, right, guys? Yep. Expect the unexpected. Ricky Bronson didn't know Saint was involved until the damn scroller was going on and Clint died their damn pot. He had no idea. Morbid Angel, first match since 2019 for that guy. He broke his back, didn't know if he'd ever walk again, let alone wrestle again. He had this huge weight loss go through the last few years. He weighed in. He talked about it on social media. He was 445 pounds. Now he's down to 270. Huge transformation for the big man. He's prepping for it every week. You know, he's going out over to Marshalltown. He's getting in the ring and really getting the wheels to where he feels confident he can wrestle a match. So that's what some of these guys are willing to do. It's not just the young guys that are getting involved in this matchup. You got some of these veteran talents who understand this could be their last shot at immortality and facing a heavyweight champion. And this match provides that opportunity for them to do so. This is a very big match for a lot of people. And like I said, expect the unexpected. I can't wait. It's my favorite match that we produce all year long.
Like you mentioned, when I saw Saint and you mentioned him, the first thing that popped in my head was how is Mr. Bronson going to react to that? Your guys' history is well known across Iowa and the wars you two have had. So that's definitely another dynamic when it comes to this. Looking at some of the names in this, there's a lot of guys with a lot of motivation going into this match. You look at it, Death Dealer, we talked about his experiences the last few months and all the hardships he's gone through of getting screwed over by multiple people multiple times out of the title. He's going to be hell-bent and determined to win this. Victor Payne's another guy you got to think of who feels like he should be holding all the gold in APW. It seems his attitude the past few months. And then you can't leave out the man Cole Cannon, who wants to win it just to ruin it for everybody, especially being in Waterloo. He would love nothing more to spoil everyone's night and emerge victorious within the Winter Brawl Classic. Then, of course, you got a guy like Ricky Bronson, you know, making his return from the injuries and everything like that, motivated more than ever. A lot of motivation in this match. And Ricky, with all that in mind, what do you think about all the competition that's going into this?
First of all, I got a little stunned here. If you just saw my reaction a couple minutes ago, I'm stunned that Danny Mott's in this. Everyone needs to watch out for Danny Mott. We're talking about a force to be reckoned with there, baby. So let's just put that out there. But yeah, there's a lot of rivalries. There's a lot of personal vendettas that are going to be settled in this match. A lot of people coming to face for the first time in a long time. And it's gonna be a good show, baby. I'm looking forward to the opportunity just to get my hands on several guys.
Yeah.
Like I said, Saint. I want to get my hands on him. I want to get my hands on Cole Cannon. That dude rubbed that open weight title in my face after he won it when I was sitting over at that commentator's table. So I'll never forget that. Never. That runs through my head on a daily basis when I go to the gym, when I'm running, when I'm riding my bike, when I go into work. Every day, baby. Victor Payne, I want to get my hands on him just because I seen the tear that he was on, baby. He wants to run his mouth a little bit saying, he is the man. He's this, that. He's this big, bad, entity. I got a lot of things to prove. I'm going to show these guys, coming up in the Winter Brawl that, I'm still that force to be reckoned with. I'm still that trailer park brawler, baby. I'm still throwing hands. I'm still drinking Coors. I'm still revving up the two-stroke engines, baby. I want to get that 51 premix, going before the match. That's like smelling salts, baby. That's what I'm saying. They don't know what I've been, what they got stored for them. For Ricky Bronson's got a lot of pent up energy, and it's gonna come out in this Winter Brawl Classic, and I'm pumped, baby.
Nice. Well, one things I was just thinking about, the scariest thing that might happen that night is if the Free World's victorious in their first 2 matches, they are going to be a confident bunch going into this Winter Brawl Classic, and you know how numbers advantages can work to your advantage in a situation like this. So that's a scary thought, that if the Free World wins and gets that momentum going, could carry over into the main event.
It could, but I think the other side we got to look at there is, while they would have momentum, who do they look at as the guy that should get the opportunity? Because if they're the last 3 in that match,
right,
there's a lot of ego in that ring. What's the conversation like in that locker room?
Right.
Those 3 gentlemen, with that being the scenario, hey, let's get rid of everybody else, but who's going to win it all? That's the conversation. I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that, because 3 guys can't win the whole thing.
Nope.
Only one can.
Yep. On that note, I think, you guys have anything else you want to mention about the Winter Brawl Classic coming up? Ricky, you got any final warnings or motivation?
I think I said everything that I need to say for tonight. Everybody knows that I'm that brawler, and I'm going to come out. I'm going to raise hell. They know they're going to get hurt, and they know that they're probably going to get their ass thrown out, and I'm probably going to win that match. So, I'm going to talk a lot of game. They know it, and I know they probably are too. But, I'm ready, baby. Can't wait. Let's go.
January 25th, big event happening in Waterloo, Iowa. You don't want to miss out on it. We'll have several things you can look forward to as far as that event is concerned. The matches, the hype to all of it. You can check out all the videos we have thus far for all the matches that are taking place. Expect the unexpected. We still have people we haven't even announced, and we probably won't announce, because we want to be just as entertained as we are all going to be at the Winter Brawl Classic when all these people come in to that Winter Brawl Classic, into the ring, and try to fight for the right to not just party, but to face the APW champion at Super Slam 3 happening in May of this year. Cannot wait for it, and I know that Clint's going to have a whole big old preview likely about what's to come as well. You could check that out on Facebook, Tag Team Photography.
All right, guys. Well, until we meet again, we will see you guys ringside.